In our last video in the series, we discussed the Idée Fixe, along with the masterwork that made it famous, Berlioz's Symphonie Fantastique. Today we follow the lead of Idée Fixe to Germany and Wagner as it evolves into the Leitmotif. The Leitmotif is just like an Idée Fixe, a short melodic fragment that can stand in for a person, place, thing, or situation in a work of art. Wagner used hundreds of Leitmotifs in his operas, especially in his cycle of 4 operas, Der Ring des Nibelungen. Wagner preferred the term Hauptmotiv, or principal motive, in which he first used in 1877. He referred to the idea of the Hauptmotiv in opera and drama as guides to feeling, describing how they could be used to inform the listener of a musical or dramatic subtext to the action on stage in the same way as a Greek chorus did for the theater of ancient Greece. The only time he used the term leitmotif was to call it a so-called leitmotif. The term began to be used more and more by the public, especially after Hans von Voltzolgen published a Leitfaden, or guide or manual, to the ring in 1876. In it, he claimed to have isolated and named all of the recurring motifs in the cycle, the motif of servitude, the spear, or the treaty, etc. One of the greatest uses of leitmotif in modern culture is the Imperial March by John Williams. Introduced in the second movie, The Empire Strikes Back, it is an iconic theme heard 35 times in that movie alone. John Williams describes his music as pre-language and his intentions to tap into something earlier in the cultural salts of our brains, memories of lives lived in the past. The theme is stylistically close to Holst's Mars from the Planets, down to the menacing rhythm in the strings. Let's view some of the instances of the Vader leitmotif in The Empire Strikes Back and discuss how it is used. Don't worry, we aren't going to hear all 35 instances. The first instance of the leitmotif is right after the introductory crawl, when the Star Destroyer is releasing probes. The piccolo has 2 bars of the theme, heard before we hear it in full force. The first time it is heard in its full glory is the next time we see the Imperial fleet, with Darth Vader surveying his ships. This first instance of the leitmotif is in its original form, including the introductory bars of the string rhythm before the trumpets come in with the theme. At this point, it could mean the destructive power of the Imperial fleet, but it becomes associated with Darth Vader later in the movie. As we discussed in the Intro to Semiotics videos, the trumpet is a signifier for the military. This association is played up by John Williams by using the leitmotif to accompany the vista of Imperial Star Force passing by the camera. Darth Vader is inextricably linked to his position in the Imperial fleet and his associations with the dark side that controls it. The next time the Vader leitmotif is heard is when the movie goes back to the Imperial fleet after the Resistance finds the Imperial probe droid and decides to evacuate Hoth.
What is it, General?
My lord, the fleet has moved out of Lightspeed. Comscan has detected an energy field protecting an area of the 6th planet of the Hoth system. The field is strong enough to deflect any bombardment.
The rebels are alerted to our presence. Admiral Oswald came out of Lightspeed too close to the system.
He felt surprise was wiser.
He is as clumsy as he is stupid. General, prepare your troops for a surface attack.
Yes, my lord. Lord Vader, the fleet has moved out of light speed and we're preparing to...
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral. Captain Piet.
Yes, my lord.
Make ready to land our troops beyond their energy field, then deploy the fleet so that nothing gets off the system. You are in command now, Admiral Piet.
Thank you, Lord Vader.
This second appearance starts as the first did, with a surveying sweep of Imperial craft as the theme plays loudly. The leitmotif goes on to be played in the background of the next scene, especially when Darth Vader is talking. This is when the leitmotif becomes intertwined with Darth Vader himself, instead of the power of the Imperial army. The next instance of the leitmotif we will listen to is when Darth Vader surprises Han, Leia, and Chewbacca in the Cloud City on Bespin. Let's listen to that now.
I've just made a deal that'll keep the Empire out of here forever.
We would be honored if you would join us.
I had no choice. They arrived right before you did. I'm sorry.
As you can hear, the Vader leitmotif plays very briefly in the horns and in a truncated form. Its association with Darth Vader is so powerful that you do not need to hear the rhythmic strings or even the whole line to conjure the image of Darth Vader. The most dramatic and arguably important use of the Vader leitmotif is right after the duel between Darth Vader and Luke. Luke is high above the shaft, holding on for dear life and cradling his arm that is now missing a hand. Let's hear it now.
If you only knew the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
No. That's not true. That's impossible.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
No! No!
Luke, you can destroy the Emperor. He has foreseen this. It is your destiny. Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
The rumble of timpani starts off this instance of the leitmotif, played by the French horns. The A section of the leitmotif is played through, under tempo, as Luke reacts emotionally to Darth Vader's confession. The leitmotif has lost the rhythmic strings and is played in the manner and tempo of a slow death march, giving weight and dread to this conversation. The second stanza of the leitmotif is taken up by the clarinets as the scene progresses. The leitmotif ends just as Luke has the idea of jumping off the tower. The last instance of the Darth Vader leitmotif in the movie is another subtle expression. Luke has been rescued by Leia and Chewbacca in the Millennium Falcon and is having a conversation with Darth Vader using the Force. Let's hear it now.
It's Vader.
Luke, it is your destiny.
As soon as Luke says the name Vader, before we even see him, the Vader leitmotif begins. It is played by the trombones for a more sinister and low character, and it is again played in the slow death march tempo. This gives the leitmotif maximum dread. The leitmotif is then taken over by the trumpets, playing in unison. Nothing other than the A section is played, but the audience, you and me, still get the point. It is a powerful use of the leitmotif during the dramatic end of the movie. Leitmotif is a great way to give your audience more information about a certain person, feeling, object, or just through the music. Depending on how each leitmotif is played in successive instances of it, we're able to glean how this person, place, or thing has changed. It gives us detailed knowledge of the plot as it goes forward through the medium of music. What other instances of leitmotif have you noticed? Any other movies you know that use it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for joining me in this video about leitmotif. I had a lot of fun discussing it with you. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos about music and click the notification bell to get an alert every time I post. My bibliography for this video can be found on my website, dominiqueroyum.com. It's linked in the description box below. Follow me on social media to continue the conversation. My handle is Dominique Royum everywhere. Thanks so much and see you in my next video. Oh, hold on.
Oh, good, we caught that. That just worked out for us.
This gives the leitmotif maximum dread.
Just go to the top of the thing. Hey, if we ever catch fire. I mean, they're right there.